All right, this is a big freaking deal. I got Poso and Maloney here at the exact same time right now at our Wildwood rally. Kirk, can you hold that and get some video for us? Because I don't trust that little Chinese-made automatic. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Hang on, it every second, right, Maloney?
I agree with you.
Yeah. So good to see you guys. Thanks for coming in. This is huge to have you both here. This is really great.
Well, look, it's always great to come back home to 1210 a.m. WPHT.
Yeah. Also work.
Do we still call it the Big Talker? Do we go with Big Talker?
No,
Let's say on the sign.
Just Talk Radio.
Just Talk Radio. No, I remember the Big Talker, Philadelphia.
You have 3 million followers on X.
No, but it all started with WPHT back in 2005, 2006 time frame when I'd be sitting out here handing out the little WPHT, we had the ribbon magnets that we were doing, and Dom G, and he's still going, and they actually used to let me sit next to Dom. And I would always say, hey, Dom, you get all these books. What do you do with them when you read all these books? He's like, well, if you want some of these books, go ahead and read them. And I read every single one of those.
Well done.
Every single one. So I really credit a lot to WPHT. And it's just amazing to see the growth of the station and the success and the fact that it is still the leading talk radio in the area.
Yeah, it is. That's absolutely right.
That's the best station in the country. Best station in the country.
Dude, look at you. I appreciate that. That's amazing. But yet you've blown up. I mean, you're huge. You're a brand now. Like Poso's a brand.
You could say that. I didn't expect this. Definitely couldn't say that it was planned. But it's all glory to God. And I just try to go out there, a kid from the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, trying to do the right thing.
You guys were together election night.
A night we'll never forget.
Yeah, with Charlie.
We were.
And that was obviously a great night for us. And now bittersweet, right? To think back to that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Jack and me were probably a little bullyish on always pushing Pennsylvania, to Charlie, to Tyler, to the whole crew. It was like whatever they wanted to talk about, we're like, that's fine, but let's go talk about Pennsylvania. Here's how we can take any angle and come back to Pennsylvania. But as I said on your show, I mean, a lot of people remember that moment because it was the state, that put us to the point where Fox News said, all right, that's it. Pennsylvania's in. Donald J. Trump will be the 47th president. So me and Jack got to share that moment talking as two, Philly suburb guys just trying to figure it out. I mean, who would have thought they would have put some kids from the suburbs in charge of doing a lot of the work? But, I think it was an advantage for us because we know blue-collar Americans. We know blue-collar Pennsylvanians. Right. We know the working class. And I think the Democrats have just very much their consultant class has lost that.
Yeah.
This idea of how to talk to normal people. And I think, Pennsylvania polling, it was a huge moment for everybody.
Well, and Cliff, there's one piece that you and I remember from that moment that not everybody does. So I was in Philadelphia at Kamala Harris's remember the fake concerts that she was doing? Yeah. And we had been in Allentown. Then we went down, and my brother and I had infiltrated. We had our white dudes for Kamala hats on, and we infiltrated. We get all the way down in front of the art museum, and then we switched it out to our MAGA hats. They're like, oh, everybody's yelling at us. And then, so I go straight from there to the airport, and then flew all the way out to Phoenix to be with Charlie. But along the way, down on I-95, I pull off on the side, and there's a Wawa right there. I stopped at that Wawa, and I bought myself an entire care package of pumpkin tasty cakes, and I brought them all the way to Phoenix. And the only person I told about this was Cliff, and Charlie. He don't know what a tasty cake is. And Tyler said, "What is this stuff?" And I said, "I'm breaking them out when we win. I'm breaking them out when we win Pennsylvania. I'm pulling out the tasty cakes." And so if you look very closely in that video, I'm handing out tasty cakes to Charlie and Tyler and Blake and everyone. And they say, "What are these?" And Cliff is like, "Oh, you have no idea what a pumpkin tasty cake is."
Nice.
Because I knew we were going to win. And so I knew I wasn't, and I felt bad because I'm like, I want to be in Pennsylvania, but at the same time, Charlie wanted to be there in Phoenix. So I had to bring Pennsylvania with me.
I'm glad you did, Jack. That means a lot for all of us. It really does. It means a lot because we were the state you had to win. And we did it. And we did it. We all worked hard together. It was great. Turning Point is here today, which is huge. The legacy lives on, obviously. what do you think? I mean, look, you guys were super close friends with Charlie. He's one of your best friends. I don't want to take away and try to politicize that, obviously, but I always try to find something good in everything that happens in life. I've seen the level of commitment, energy, enthusiasm since that like I've never seen it before. I mean, all my years of Jersey politics, I've never seen this kind of a rally before, ever in my life. So his legacy he's living on. Right, exactly, yeah. At least when they didn't pay people, right?
Right. They have to pay
For a
That's
gubernatorial election, I mean, this is huge, right?
Right.
So Charlie continues to inspire, and if anything, his death fired people up.
No, I think that's right. And look, we had the memorial out there in Phoenix, and we've seen the chapters, we've seen the numbers, and I get sort of a daily tally of the numbers of students and chapters and people signing up, and it's tremendous. And I'll say though, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right what happened, but I know that, and Cliff knows, and all of us know that we're close with Charlie, what he would say, and he would say, keep going, keep flying the flag, go harder, go stronger, go bigger, and make them own this. Make them own this forever, what they did. And that's what he would do for me, and that's what I'm going to do for him to keep that mission going forward. And you're right, it's absolutely activated so many people, because I think that when we won in 2024, there was a sense that we won, we're done, it's the country's saved, Donald Trump is in office. But there was a almost like a lull in the activation of people out there. And sure, Charlie was, of course, pulling into campus and all the rest, but the political activation wasn't there, and that's what Charlie was all about, political activation. And in a I don't want to say it's a good way, but in a way, it's this death of Charlie that's shown us that these violent networks, these violent leftists are out there. We're at the White House a couple of days ago, and obviously I wish it was under better circumstances to talk to the President of the United States and hold a round table, really a working group, about all of the left-wing violence that we have seen pervasive in this country. And I wish that it didn't take the death of our friend to really highlight this and make it known to everybody. And as incredible as the vigils and the candlelights and all the rest have been, the prayers, we have to understand that we've got a real threat in this country. And we've got people like Nancy Pelosi who will go on and still endorse a guy like this attorney general candidate in Virginia. And she says, they ask her about the text on CNN. They asked her about the text messages. What do you think about them? And she says, I still think he's the best candidate in the race. So they turn to us and they say, turn down the temperature, turn down the rhetoric. I said, they're the ones with the rhetoric. We're out here praying and holding vigils. These guys are firing bullets, and she says, oh, go elect them anyway. It's disgusting, and it's disgraceful, and we got to stand up and fight.
Rich, let me give Jack some credit for something. It is a private conversation. I think he's okay with me sharing this. Jack called me a couple weeks back, and he said, we need to do something for Charlie. We need to actually figure out how we take this. We need a fight. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, Jack, we've got about 105 people in Jersey, but I've been very quiet about it. We didn't do the full. I was trying to keep the strategy on the DL. And Jack really convinced me in that phone call. He's like, no, go live with the New Jersey Chase.
Well, I was stuck in the Phoenix airport in 8 hours in that monsoon in the desert, if you can believe it. And I'm sitting there and I'm just trying to think, we got to do something. And I felt the inertia of being stuck in the airport. I said, I'm going to call Cliff. We need to do something.
And I think that there are so many things going well for Jack. There's a lot of things that, they're not tangible things. Some things are out of his control. The fact that Mikey Sherrill, every time she steps out or anytime she speaks, she's losing voters.
Yep.
You see Jack working the crowd here? That guy is amazing. He's authentic. Yep. He connects with people.
He's
people
real Jersey.
He is.
He's real Jersey.
I love that line that he said. He says, elect a guy from Jersey. The Jersey guy. That's a pretty good pitch.
That's great. I mean, Corzine wasn't from here. It didn't work out so good. Murphy's not from here. It didn't work out so well. Elect a Jersey guy for a change. Guys, thank you for being here tonight. I know you're going to speak soon. You're going to lead a candlelight vigil for Charlie. Before I let you go, though, any thoughts on, for you to come in for this, and I know that Cliff is, while he's here, he's doing the NJ Chase, and he's got volunteers out. Jack, you being here, your presence, and your 3 million Twitter followers, everybody getting activated. What is it about this race that said to you, I want to be part of this, I want to do something? Because you tweeted that out, and all these people kept tweeting me and saying, you got to get posted with the rally, you got to get posted with the rally. What was it about this race in particular that said, I got to get involved?
Well, look, and Cliff just talked about some of the mechanics here, but you even go back to 2024, and the candidates are like, we've got the right candidate, and they've got the wrong candidate. So that's number one. Then number two, you go back to 2024, and you look at the county shift. The county shift percentage, which county shifted blue, which county shifted red. 100% of the counties of Jersey shifted red in the 2024 election. That is not a fluke. That is momentum. And so you have that momentum, plus Donald Trump being in office, plus this recent activation, and I have to say with my political hat on, it is an activation on the right that's happened in the wake of what happened 1 month ago today to my friend Charlie. You've got real momentum. She's collapsing under the weight of her lies, under the weight of her complete inexperience, her lies about not only her naval career and her time at the Navy Academy, the cheating scandal, but also her lies about this insider trading, which is a massive scandal, even from her own side. AOC has been against this, and of course she's quiet when it's Mickey Sherrill, but so you've got a real chance here to actually do something good for the state of New Jersey. And not only is it winnable with the striking distance that Jack Ciattarelli is in, but that gives us the momentum for the narrative going into 2026 of a midterm year where typically people would say, the first midterm after as the president wins isn't good for the president's party in power. I think you can change that and completely turn this on a table, and it all starts right here in New Jersey.
Thanks for being here, brother. Appreciate it very much.
Always
Maloney,
come home.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rich.
And like I said, you're the most successful thing to come out of PhD. You really are.
No,
Truly.
since Rich Zeoli. No, the most successful thing is Rich's haircut.
All right, listen, we'll take a quick break as we are live here at North Wildwood for the big rally. Jack Ciattarelli, we're going to make him the next governor of New Jersey. We're coming right back.